On this podcast, we talk about the books, both old and new, that are worth putting on your to-be-read list. I'll include the back cover synopsis, content warnings, as well as my pro and con list. To avoid any spoilers, head over to my Instagram at enjoylifewithme.angela. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these books. Let's jump in for the day. All right, today we're going to be talking about A Lady Most Alluring by Amy Newbold, which is the seventh and the last book in the multi-author series, A Grimm Regency Tale. These came out last fall into November. The back cover synopsis says, a scandal, a wager, a masquerade ball. Cecilia Barnett flees London and a scandal for a fresh start in the countryside. Desperate to keep a low profile, her sole focus is finding a match for her sister Miriam. As Benedict Lockhart arrives with his mother at their country estate, he is determined to avoid romantic entanglement. He makes a wager with his friend that he can rebuff the attentions of the rural ladies. When Cecilia and Benedict meet, it's dislike at first sight, but within the small country social circles, they are repeatedly thrust together, and undeniable attraction sparks between them. Cecilia's fears of rejection if Benedict learns of her past, as she strives to protect her secret from him. Benedict fights his feelings for her. He clings to his wager and plans to return to London unattached. If Cecilia can't find the courage to be truthful, it will cost her a chance at unparalleled happiness. And if Benedict can't set aside his pride, he will lose the only woman who has ever spoken to his heart. This is a dual point of view Regency fairy tale retelling. It's a novella length of Cinderella. The intimacy is mild. There's a low descript kiss. There's no language or violence. And as far as potential trigger warnings, there is a past parental death, as well as the past scandal, and for lack of a better word, quote unquote, mean girls. The con I had with this one, though, is that it was too quick. I know it's a novella, that's always the problem. But when we got to the I love you part, it almost felt disingenuous because like they didn't know each other that well. And so it felt like, do you actually love them? Really? Do you? But their other emotions were very realistic, and a pro for me was that Benedict wanting to avoid getting, caught up with one of these country rural women, where Cecilia was just overly cautious with every interaction she had because of her past London scandal. She was just hyper aware of everything. There's a quote where she said, she glanced back at the house, fighting her old fear of scandals before she placed a hand on the crook of his elbow. And it was just like, she couldn't even touch a guy to go for a walk without having those fears come up. So it was very realistic in that sense. I loved the Cinderella elements in there. You got a lot of them with the losing the shoe, the leaving at midnight, the mean sisters, even though they weren't her sisters, which is a fun little twist. The same thing, like the shoe was too big, it didn't fit perfectly. Like there's just these twists to it. I loved it. It was great. My favorite part though was Oliver. He was a total sweetheart. Like helping retrieve the shoe was just like, oh, what a cutie. I did wonder though about Mrs. Lockhart's concern over Benedict picking one of the Barnett sisters. I'm like, did she know about the scandal and she was concerned? Was it just that, as all mothers do, you want them to improve like a title or status or money, and that was not going to happen in this situation? Or did she really like the Barnett sisters and so it was like reverse psychology? I don't know. I was kind of curious about that. Tell me what you think the reason is. Jump over to my social medias. I'll make sure that the link tree is clickable in the show notes so you can get to any of them. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, it's all there. And share your thoughts with me. I'd love to hear what you think about it, and I will talk to you soon. Happy reading.